Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the latest generation for the BMW M3 Competition. Huge shout out to 704 Exotics for providing this family style performance oriented sedan for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. So this M3 is finished off in frozen brilliant white metallic. MSRP is just over $82,000. And this is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder twin power turbo paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission. The Competition bumps it up to 503 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,400-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Top speed is 180 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 112.5 inches. Its overall length is 189.1. It has a width of 74.3 and a height of 56.5 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this M3 Comp, let's start off with the controversial kidney grille. I think it has a great design to it. There are plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that engine. The M3 Comp badge is on that driver's side. There's also sensors. And up top, this does have the BMW 50 years badge, which is an option to go with. But it looks very nice, especially with all of the lines and the ones that extend off the top, making their way to the top of the hood. Very nice curves and indentions to blend it in nicely and give it more of a sporty appearance. Now this also has a set of LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. There's also some more cutouts in both sections to provide some more airflow. And there's some gloss black accents on each side, as well as all the contoured lines and the lower section of that bumper just to match nicely with that grille. Now there are some options missing on this M3. All of the gloss black could be carbon fiber, so the entire side skirt could be carbon fiber as well. But for this model, it blends in nicely with these blacked out wheels. Now this does have a staggered setup. They're 19 inches up front, 20 in the rear. This has the M Sport brakes as well as that 50 years wheel cap, and it does have the BMW adaptive suspension as well. That multi-spoke design definitely gives it a great look. Now there's also the M3 Comp badge just behind that front tire. We have the gloss black side mirrors along with the turn signal, and the Competition gets a full carbon fiber roof. So no sunroof if you decide to go with that, but it definitely makes it a little bit lighter and gives it a cool look. Now all of the window trim is also blacked out just to give it that theme, matching with all the gloss black down below, including the very small trunk mounted spoiler, which is finished off in gloss black. This has a backup camera, LED taillights, there's the parking sensors, and then there's the quad tip dual exhaust with more of that gloss black. Now let's take a listen to this because it does have remote start, so just triple tap the lock button and it will fire up. When you triple tap on it again, you can shut the vehicle off. You can use the button on the key fob too, or the electronic button underneath for that power trunk lid to open up. Now, like I said, this is more of a family style sedan. So you have plenty of space in the trunk. There's a net on the driver's side, a little bit of cargo on that passenger side, and you can even fold down the back seats. So pull on both of those tabs, and that gives you a lot more interior space just to put in any items that you may have. Now there's no storage underneath the floor, so that gives you a lot of additional space. And there's the power trunk, so that's easy to close. You can also lock the vehicle too. Now if you do lock the vehicle, we have the proximity door handles in back, so you can unlock it, which makes it even more convenient. And this door panel is very nice. There's all of the leather, brushed aluminum accents, Harman Kardon, even the interior lighting, and then some storage space down below. There's the BMW colors stitched on the seatbelts there, and then the solid black leather seats for your back passengers. Now at 5'10", I have plenty of room. There's no storage pockets behind the front seats, however, but there's air vents in the middle. You have all of your climate adjustments, even some auxiliaries, and then I have about an inch or so above my head. So for the smaller size that this is, if you need a little bit bigger, you can go with the M5, but for this M3, I could fit fine. I could definitely ride around in the back. Right in the middle, you can also fold down that entire seat. So you could use this as an armrest since there's not one that folds out of it. And then we have plenty of glass and visibility. So it's roomy, very practical for its size. Now up front, you have the memory seating controls along with the power folding side mirrors, power trunk release, even more storage space, and the same materials, of course. M3 is also down on the door sill. And then for this model, we have more of the traditional sport bucket seat. They are automatic with the exception of the one manual control. For the M3, you can also opt for the carbon fiber bucket seats. So you can go a little bit more aggressive than this if you would like to. But now we need to hear some of those revs, so let's start this back up and take a listen. And then coming back to the digital gauge cluster, miles per hour and fuel levels on the left side, right side engine temperature and tach. You'll notice that the map is always going to be shown right in the middle there. And then you can also go through some more info using this button right in the middle. So if I push on that once, now we can scroll through content and you can change what is going to be in the middle. This is how the vehicle is currently set up for all the driving modes. You can go through some of the engine data, look at your TPMS and temperature, pull up a live readout for horsepower and torque, even look at a G-force meter, you have your audio. So you have quite a lot to scroll through. And then if I go over one to the right, now we have the head-up display. So currently it is showing the sport or the standard view, which is miles per hour and the speed limit sign. Directional will add the compass. Reduced view is just miles per hour and the speed limit sign. And that is all that you get. So you can configure those a little bit if you need to. Now for the rest of the steering wheel, we have solid leather. We have carbon fiber accents as well. It is a heated M steering wheel. Also on this right side, there's volume and tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands. The left side gets you all the cruise control settings. You'll notice the massive carbon fiber paddle shifters and then M1 and M2. As you heard in the revs, this is a shortcut to be able to set up the vehicle in the most efficient or the most performance oriented. So it's very nice to quickly be able to do that. Now on this left side, all of the headlight adjustments, there's a little bit of storage down below. And then the entire dash is covered in leather. And for the infotainment system, it is connected to the gauge cluster for these newer models. Pushing on those 4 squares there gets you into all of these icons. You can use the rotary dial down below to further go through this. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can get into your climate adjustments, owner's manual. You have a lot that you can configure. If I go back to home, there are shortcuts to your music. You can get into your phone. And then the last one is for the navigation. So you can pull that up in full screen. Now on the home screen, you can also swipe through the rest of these widgets. So just depending on what you need to get into, you can also add some as well. But if we go all the way back into the setup now, this is how you can configure M1 and M2. So in M1, you'll notice these are all the settings it's currently in. I will have these adjusted for the test drive, so that way we can go through the differences between efficient and sport plus there. So very easy to do. In the lower section, this is how you can get to your heated seats along with all of your climate adjustments, and then the temperature dials are on both sides. So that is all fixed in the lower section, so you can always get to it when needed. Now there's more carbon fiber underneath that, air vents in the middle, we have power and volume as well as tuning and recircs. And then underneath the carbon fiber lid, there's wireless charging, auxiliaries, and cup holders. And then these are the controls that you can use for that screen. So I was using the rotary dial earlier, but you can push on these shortcuts and quickly get through all of this information. Now for the all new gear shifter, if I push it to the left, that is neutral, all the way up is reverse. And this model only has the backup camera, so we have sensors on that right side. You can't opt for the 360. If I go over once, that is for drive. If I do that one more time, that allows us to use the paddle shifters, or you can shift using the shifter itself. Now on the back side, there's park, and you can even adjust how slow or quickly you want the transmission to shift. Now on the left side, there's traction control, parking sensors, engine start stop, and then you can also put this vehicle into M mode. So the entire gauge cluster will change once you put it into sport. So now you have more of a race style setup, and then the entire tach will be shown on the head-up display, just to give you a little bit more sporty of a look. Setup is just behind that. There's the exhaust note button, auto hold, and the e-brake. And then a good bit of storage in the center console there, as well as in the glove box too. Dome lights are up top along with a call button. and then plenty of visibility over both shoulders. What's interesting to note too is that the headliner, hopefully you can see, goes up. So I'm assuming if you wanted to put on a helmet, if you're taking this out on the track, that gives you a lot more headspace. So I have around 3-4 inches, so I can put on a helmet and still have enough room for situations like that. As we set off now behind the wheel for the M3 Competition, this is now the first M3 that I've been able to drive, and I love when I get to drive these. I think this is one of the best performance-oriented sedans for the money that you can get. You can also get the M3 with a manual transmission. It's not going to be the Competition, but with a tune and some very inexpensive mods, you can get more horsepower out of that car to compete more with this and to even get more power. So you have 2 different transmission options depending on what you feel. And you have a quick car. I wish we got one as a press car so we could take it to the mountains and really rip on it. This thing has so many different driving modes. You're basically driving more than one car because I have the shifts in the quickest shifts right now. But if we go down to kind of more of the general, they're going to be a little bit more laid back, slower, but it's nice. I think it's really cool because just depending on how you want to drive this, even if you just put it into the normal drive settings, you can configure how quick this is going to shift. And it revs out a little bit more in normal automatic, or you can just tone it down if you're in stop and go traffic and you want it to be a little bit smoother. Here's on the brakes again. It didn't even downshift. It's a lot more smoother. We're still in 4th gear, went to 5th gear there. So it wasn't as aggressive as you heard previously. So that is one thing that I think makes it that much more exciting to drive, even with this 8-speed auto. Shifts are incredibly quick. And I'm a huge BMW fan. I do get to drive them quite a lot, but I love getting to drive them. They're so refined feeling. They're so smooth. This is absolutely a daily driving family style vehicle. If you have kids, you need the back seat room. If you need a little bit bigger of a sedan, you can go with the M5 Comp. But if you want that smaller, more nimble feeling, more of the sporty characteristics, this weighs less, of course, so it's going to handle a lot better. This is a sweet option. I think if I needed a sedan someday, I would probably go with an M3 with the manual because I think it's so good. It's such a fun car. And in sport mode, 2nd gear, here we go. So quick in those shifts. I do have it in the more quicker shifts. Let's also put it into sport mode now so we can have that tack front and center. And now that we are driving the M3 Competition, you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel. Being a BMW, you are getting some very nice materials. It's well refined for just over $80,000 starting price. That will go up, of course, depending on the options that you go with. This is a phenomenal interior. I really do like all of the materials. We have leather everywhere. It is what you would expect from a premium luxury brand like BMW. And I think BMW is probably one of the best vehicles that has a lot of performance to them. And it's so fun. They are so capable. There are so many levels of just how this can be driven that I don't think many owners will get to experience. It's a car that you can just continue to learn. So the more you drive it, the more comfortable you can get, the more you can actually use all of the performance tech to its full capabilities. Let's face it, this is going to be an errand car. You know, it's just going to be driven to work, things like that. Not to say that's a bad thing, because you will have a smile on your face when you drive this car. But if you take it on some mountain roads, you take it to the track, you are going to experience the full potential and what this car has to offer, which is quite a lot. As far as turning radius goes, because this is going to be in parking lot situations, pretty tight there. It also has a good amount of clearance up front. And just like that, we are back up to speed. It's such a good car. I would highly recommend one if you are in the market for a performance-oriented vehicle, but you want a luxury-focused car too. And of course, something you can daily drive and just use it as a practical vehicle. The M3 is definitely a good option to go with. That is going to wrap it up though for the M3 Comp. Once again, huge shout out to 704 Exotics for providing this sporty sedan for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. We have very tight turning too. Sporty feel there. But if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.